Discover revelations about life and death through Enoch's visions in this deep and enlightening video about the Bible. Hello, dear brothers. Today we will explore the visions of Enoch to better understand life and death from a spiritual perspective. Get ready for a journey of knowledge and reflection. Dear brothers, imagine walking with me through the green fields of a distant era where purity still reigned in the hearts of men. In this scenario of peace and harmony, Enoch stands like a lighthouse of righteousness in the middle of the darkness that was beginning to spread over the earth. I tell you the saga of this righteous man who walked with God, guided by a heavenly light that shone in his eyes and illuminated his way. Enoch was not just a mere mortal. He was the one who dared to challenge the limits imposed by humanity and to take flights to the arms of the divine. In his deepest and revealing views, he contemplated the secrets of the heavens and unveiled mysteries that were hidden in the earthly eyes. And so, without experiencing the bitterness of physical death, Enoch was elevated to heaven by virtue of his unshakable faith and intimate communion with the Creator. In my research journey on the visions of Enoch, I dived into the depths of biblical accounts with great curiosity and reverence. As I was embedded in the ancient scriptures, I felt as if a spiritual light enlightened my way, showing secrets for a long time hidden about life and death. As I came across the views of Enoch, I could glimpse a world beyond the tangible, beyond our limited human understanding. Enoch was elevated to a singular level, where the barriers between the ground and the divine became permeable. His visions revealed the existence of pulsating spiritual kingdoms of energy and meaning, making us question our own perception of reality and our relationship with the sacred. Every detail of Enoch's visions seemed to echo in my heart, arousing a deep sense of wonder and admiration at the grandeur of the universe created by God. In contemplating the visions of Enoch, I am transported beyond time and space, immersed in an ocean of deep meanings and cosmic revelation. It is as if the veils that hide the true nature of existence were momentarily removed, allowing me to glimpse the interconnection between life and death. The figure of Enoch, rising to heaven in the midst of his intimate communion with the divine, echoes in my soul as a reminder of the transience of earthly life and the eternity of spiritual life. Every detail of the divine vision seems to echo in my being, arousing a deep reflection on the fragility and preciousness of human existence. In this close meeting with Enoch's visions, I realized that death is not the end, but a passage to a superior plane of consciousness and communion with the Creator. Just as Enoch walked with God and was elevated to eternal light, we are invited to walk our own path of faith and transcendence, confident in the promise of a life beyond death, where the fullness of divine love will reign. I am deeply impacted by Enoch's revelations, which echo like an ancestral clamor in my heart. As I dive into the visions of this man who walked with God, I realize that life and death are part of an intricate and sacred cycled fabric with light and shadow. Enoch's imposing figure, rising to heaven in the midst of an aura of purity and transcendence, makes me reflect on my own choices and priorities in this passing world. Your visions are not just reports of the distant past. These are keys that open doors to a deeper understanding of existence and eternity. I now understand that every step I take, every word I throw, reverberates in all eternity, shaping my spiritual journey towards the divine imprint. Enoch's visions challenge me to live with unconditional authenticity, integrity, and love, purposes that echo for eternity as heavenly songs. May I walk my way with courage and faith as I did, walking in the light of the supreme truth that frees the hearts and prepares souls for the ultimate encounter with the Creator. In reflecting on the visions of Enoch, I realize the deep importance of every choice we make on our earthly journey. Each step, each decision shapes not only the course of our present existence, but also the eternal destiny of our soul. Just as Enoch walked with God in righteousness and communion, we are reminded that our daily actions reflect our search for truth and divine love. Enoch's few kindness us to look beyond appearances and social conventions, leading us to dive into the depths of our own consciousness and spiritual connection. In a world full of distractions and temptations, Enoch's visions invite us to seek divine wisdom in all our choices, guiding us along the way of light and integrity. May we learn from Enoch to leave a legacy of faith and righteousness to future generations, inspiring them to walk their own paths with courage, authenticity, and unconditional love. Enoch, an enigmatic and inspiring figure who traveled the earth at a time when the connection with the divine was more palpable, makes me reflect on the essence of faith and spiritual walk. I imagine accompanying Enoch in his decided steps, feeling the divine presence that surrounded him as an aura of intense and comforting light. In the midst of the vicissitudes of earthly life, Enoch remained firm in his devotion to the Creator, seeking daily the intimate communion that guided him through the paths of truth and love. I feel my heart accelerate by thinking about the experiences lived by Enoch, every step taken into the full confidence that light guides the righteous towards eternity. When meditating on the visions of Enoch, I realize that unshakable faith is the support that keeps us firm even before the storms of life. Just as Enoch walked with God and was elevated to heaven, I want to walk my own path with courage and integrity, following the luminous example left by this man of incomparable faith. Understanding Enoch's visions, I was involved in a sense of deep reverence and gratitude. Each word pronounced by Enoch echoed in my heart, arousing a clearer understanding of the essence of life and death. I realized that earthly existence is only part of the great divine mystery, a fragment of our spiritual journey towards eternity. Enoch's visions have recalled that despite the uncertainties and challenges we face daily, there is a greater truth that guides our steps and calms our restless hearts. I allowed myself to dive deeper into Enoch's prophetic words, seeking in them not only intellectual knowledge, but an emotional connection with the truth that frees the thirsty souls. Thus, amid the transcendental revelations of the man who walked with God, I found answers to old questions and strength to face the unfathomable mysteries of the universe. May I live each day with wisdom, gratitude, and unconditional love, guided by the eternal light that shines in the visions of Enoch. When I leaned over Enoch's visions and plunged into the ancestral accounts, a deep understanding took over me. Death, often feared and avoided, revealed itself as a mysterious portal for a new dimension of existence. In this threshold between earthly life and eternity, I glimpsed Enoch's imposing figure ascending to heaven in the midst of unparalleled light. His transition was not a tragic end, but the glorious beginning of a spiritual journey full of light and peace. It was as if the barriers that separate the material world from the divine became transparent, revealing the continuity of life beyond physical death. In contemplating these heavenly revelations, I realized that our souls are eternal and that death is only a transformation to a superior state of consciousness and communion with God. In the midst of the serenity and beauty of Enoch's visions, I found comfort and hope, knowing that death does not mean definitive separation, but a return to the cozy hug of the Creator. As I deepened the views of Enoch, a deep revelation touched my soul indelibly. The clear and bright truth emerged before my eyes like a guide light in the darkness of the unknown. Knowing the truth is not simply to accumulate intellectual knowledge, it is to allow divine essence to penetrate every fiber of our being, transforming our beliefs, our actions, and our purposes. Truth sets us free from the bonds of ignorance and leads us through ways of deep understanding and inner peace. Just as Enoch walked firmly on the path of the truth revealed by God, we are challenged to open the eyes of the heart to see beyond the passing appearances and the illusions that surround us. May each step taken toward the truth is also a step towards genuine freedom, one that transcends earthly limitations and raises us to intimate communion with the divine. In contemplating Enoch's visions and reflecting on the depth of his spiritual legacy, I feel my heart overflow with gratitude and reverence. Every view and revelation transmitted by this man of unshakable faith echoes in my soul as heavenly melodies, arousing in me a deeper understanding of the purpose of life. To a traveler of time, walking alongside Enoch through the paths of the distant past, witnessing his extraordinary journey of communion with the divine. Their visions transcend the barriers of earthly existence, opening portals to spiritual dimensions beyond our limited understanding. With each step with this righteous man, I realize that death is not the end, but a passage to eternity and awakening to the true essence of the soul. Just as Enoch was elevated to heaven by virtue of his unshakable faith, I also want to walk my way with courage and integrity, guided by the eternal light that shines in the visions of the past and illuminates my present. May the lessons of Enoch's visions inspire me to live each day with purpose, unshakable faith, and confidence in divine love that sustains us at all times in life. If you want to understand more deeply about the spiritual truths present in the Holy Scriptures, subscribe to the channel so as not to lose any content. Leave your like, share this video with friends and family in search of spiritual knowledge. Until the next video.